This is the Apos Atwo Elite. It is the rare folding electric bicycle that feels genuinely solid at Class 3 assist speeds, so I can ride quickly without feeling like the frame or the hinges are going to complain. The Apos Atwo Elite fits into that compact commuter category, but it is not a toy. It folds to fit a car trunk or a small hallway, and it rides like a full-size city bike when I am out on the road. I see it working best for riders who live in apartments, people who need to toss a bike into the back of a car, and anyone who wants electric assist that can keep up with real traffic on neighborhood streets. If I want the flexibility of a throttle for stop-and-go riding, but I still want the higher speed of pedal assist, this checks that box. The design looks purposeful rather than flashy. The frame is chunky and reassuring, and the main hinge clicks shut with a firm snap that I can feel through my hand. That one sensation sets the tone for the whole bike. Nothing rattles around. The fenders come already mounted, the rear cargo rack is already on, and the cables are tucked in cleanly. The grips feel grippy without being gummy, and the saddle is on the firmer side, which I actually prefer for city rides. The front fork has suspension, and it takes the sting off potholes and curbs without bouncing me around. The tires have an on-road off-road pattern and a larger profile that adds confidence on mixed surfaces, though I would not call them mountain tires, and I do not ride this like a trail bike. Folding and unfolding becomes muscle memory after a day with it. I drop the handlebar, open the frame latch, bring the two halves together, and I am done. When I unfold it, I always give the latch a firm squeeze and a tug to make sure it is fully seated. That habit matters because this bike is built to go fast with assist. Folded, it is compact enough to slide into a hatchback, but it is not feather light. If I need to carry it up multiple flights of stairs, I have to pace myself. One flight is fine, 3 flights gets my heart rate up. Setup was almost a non-event. It arrives mostly assembled. I unfolded it, straightened the bars, adjusted the saddle height, checked tire pressure, and I was rolling. The controls are straightforward. The assist levels are obvious. The simple screen shows the basics I care about, and the throttle is easy to find without taking my eyes off the street. I do not have to learn a complicated menu to get moving. The pedal assist engages quickly with a natural ramp-up. It does not lurch when I start pedaling, and it does not surge when I shift my cadence. When I use the throttle from a dead stop, it gets me across an intersection cleanly without feeling abrupt. Speed matters here, and this is where the Apos Atwo Elite sets itself apart. With pedal assist, the bike will help me up to Class 3 speeds, which means I can see 28 miles per hour on a flat section with some effort from my legs. I do not have to mash the pedals to reach 20 miles per hour. I can do that while pedaling lightly and letting the motor carry the load. When I use throttle only, it tops out at roughly 17.5 miles per hour, and that feels right for safely cruising in a bike lane or rolling through a park path. Throttle is great for easing away from a light or climbing a short hill without shifting, but if I want the top-end speed, I keep the pedals turning. The 7-speed drivetrain is there when I want a fine-tune cadence. I can leave it in a middle gear for most urban riding and let the assist do the heavy lifting. On steeper grades, dropping a gear or two keeps the motor in its happy zone and stops me from bogging down. Shifts are clean and predictable even under a bit of load, which is what I expect in city traffic where hesitation costs momentum. Braking feels confident. The levers have a progressive pull that makes it easy to modulate speed without throwing my weight forward, and I have not noticed fade on long descents around my neighborhood. The motor itself has a smooth whir that fades into the background wind noise at speed. There is no harsh gear whine and no clunky engagement. On pavement, the Apos Atwo Elite rides planted. The frame feels stiff through the bottom bracket area, and the hinge does not flex when I sprint off a light. At Class 3 assist speeds, steering remains steady. I can take one hand off to signal a turn without any wobble. The tires add a tiny bit of rolling hum on perfectly smooth asphalt, but they repay that with grip when I roll through construction dust or after a rain. On gravel paths and hard-packed dirt, the bike stays calm. It tracks straight, and the front suspension takes the chatter out of washboard surfaces. When I hit a bigger pothole, the fork compresses and rebounds without pogoing me out of the saddle. This is not a mountain bike, though. I tried a rocky shortcut once and backed off quickly. The geometry and the components are tuned for streets and light trails, and that is exactly where it shines. A few real rides stand out. There's a stretch in my city that links a residential area to a shopping center with a mix of bike lanes, 2 raised crosswalks, and a mild hill. With the Apos Atwo Elite, I roll out at low assist through the neighborhood, bump it up for the hill, and reach the top without feeling winded. On the way back, I keep a brisk pace with traffic at around 20 to 25 miles per hour with pedal assist, and the bike feels composed. The cargo rack has been genuinely useful. I strapped a small grocery bag to it using a bungee cord, and it held steady without swaying. Another evening, I took it out after sunset to see how the lighting does. The headlight throws a usable cone of light far enough to spot potholes and reflective debris. The turn signals are a nice extra. Cars behind me seem to notice the blinking, and the horn is loud enough to get attention at a crosswalk without being obnoxious. One specific use case I keep coming back to is the take-it-anywhere weeknight ride. I fold the Apos Atwo Elite, slide it into the trunk, drive to a waterfront path, and unfold it in under a minute. I set the assist to a middle level, cruise along the water at an easy pace, stop for a snack, and then ride back without worrying about a long pedal home or loading a bike rack on the car. When I get back, I fold it, park it in a hallway, and it takes up less space than a full-size frame. That convenience changes how often I choose to ride, because I do not have to plan around storage or a rack. There are a few quirks worth noting. The throttle speed cap is not a flaw, it is a reality of how these bikes are set up. If I want to blast along without pedaling, this is not the machine for that. I get the best out of it when I pedal lightly and let the assist do the heavy lifting. The tires are great for mixed surfaces, but if I know I will ride only smooth pavement, a slicker tread would roll a touch quieter and a touch faster. The saddle is fine for city trips, though on rides longer than an hour I start thinking about a seat with a bit more flex. The display is readable, but under direct midday sun it can wash out a little, so I angle it slightly downward. Folding is quick, but I always double-check that latch. It is strong, and it deserves that moment of respect before riding fast. The smartest choices on this bike are the ones that reduce friction in daily life. The fact that the rack and fenders arrive installed saves me the hassle of wrenching on day one. The front suspension means I do not have to swerve around every crack in the road. The turn signals and horn contribute to visibility and communication in traffic, which is where a lot of electric bicycles fall short. The Class 3 assist makes a meaningful difference in real commuting because I can keep pace with traffic on busier connectors and spend less time as an obstacle. If I put it all together, the Apos Atwo Elite is for riders who want a compact electric bicycle that feels legitimately sturdy, rides fast with assist, and is ready for errands right out of the box. It is not aimed at long-distance touring or rough trail riding, and it is not the pick for someone who needs an ultralight folder to carry up many flights every day. For apartment dwellers, trunk packers, and everyday city riders who value convenience and confident speed, it delivers a balanced experience that feels thought through. I will share detailed information about the Apos Atwo Elite in the comments section. Everyone, thank you for watching.